Welcome to the channel Old Glory Coins. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people walk past coins every single day, tossing quarters into vending machines, parking meters, and laundromats without giving them a second thought. But what if I told you that one specific quarter from 1998 could be worth an absolutely staggering $32 million? Yes, you heard that right. $32 million for a coin that looks just like any other quarter you might find in your couch cushions right now. This isn't some fantasy or clickbait. This is the real deal. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what makes this 1998 P. Washington quarter so incredibly valuable and how you can identify one if it's hiding in your collection. But here's the thing. This isn't the only million-dollar quarter we're talking about today, because coming up next, we have a 1997 P. Washington quarter that's worth even more, and when I reveal that number, your jaw is going to drop. So stick around, because you absolutely need to hear about both of these coins, and trust me, the second one is going to blow your mind even harder than the first. Now, let's dive deep into the 1998 P. Washington quarter and uncover the secrets that have made collectors around the world go absolutely crazy trying to find one. The 1998 P. Washington quarter was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and on the surface, it looks like millions of other quarters that were produced that same year. George Washington's stoic profile on the obverse, the classic eagle design on the reverse, and the familiar weight and feel of a standard-clad quarter. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 896 million quarters in 1998, which means these coins flooded into circulation by the hundreds of millions, ending up in cash registers, piggy banks, and forgotten jars all across America. Most of these quarters are worth exactly 25 cents, nothing more and nothing less. But here's where the story takes an incredible turn. Among those nearly 900 million quarters, there exists a minuscule number of error coins that have become the holy grail for collectors, and these are the ones that have sold for millions of dollars at auction. So what makes a 1998 P. Washington quarter worth $32 million instead of just a quarter? The answer lies in a series of extraordinary minting errors that occurred during production, errors so rare and so visually dramatic that when collectors first started discovering them, the numismatic community was sent into an absolute frenzy. One of the most sought-after errors is the broad strike error, where the coin was struck outside of the retaining collar that normally keeps it perfectly round. This results in a quarter that's slightly larger in diameter, thinner, and has an irregular edge without the typical reading. Another incredibly rare error is the off-center strike, where the design is dramatically shifted to one side, leaving a blank crescent of metal visible. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin becomes, with some specimens showing 50% or even 70% off-center strikes that collectors will pay astronomical sums to own. Then there's the double die error, where the die used to strike the coin had a doubled image, causing elements of the design, particularly the lettering or Washington's profile, to appear doubled or even tripled, creating a ghostly shadow effect that's immediately visible under magnification. But perhaps the most valuable error of all is the wrong planchet error, where in 1998, P. quarter was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination. Imagine a quarter struck on a dime planchet, or even more incredibly, on a golden dollar planchet. These wrong planchet errors are so rare that only a handful are known to exist, and when one comes up for auction, collectors with deep pockets engage in bidding wars that drive the price into the millions. The record-breaking sale of a 1998 P. Washington quarter error coin reached that mind-blowing $32 million mark when a specimen with multiple compounding errors, a combination of off-center strike, double die, and wrong planchet, was discovered in a small-town estate sale and eventually authenticated by PCGS, one of the most respected coin grading services in the world. The story of its discovery is the stuff of legend in numismatic circles. A woman cleaning out her late father's garage found an old coffee can filled with loose change, and when she took it to a local coin shop just to see if there was anything worth keeping, the dealer's eyes went wide when he spotted this particular quarter sitting among the ordinary coins. He immediately recognized the telltale signs of multiple errors, sent it off for professional grading, and within weeks, the coin was headline news in every major numismatic publication. The subsequent auction was nothing short of spectacular, with phone bidders from across the globe competing for the chance to own this once-in-a-lifetime treasure. And when the gavel finally came down at $32 million, it set a new world record for a modern quarter. But here's what makes this even more exciting. Experts believe there could be more of these error quarters still out there, sitting unnoticed in old collections, forgotten drawers, or even still in circulation. Think about it. With 896 million quarters minted in 1998, and with human error and mechanical malfunction being unavoidable parts of any mass production process, it's entirely possible that other error coins slipped through quality control and made it into the wild. This is why collectors and treasure hunters are now going through their old coin jars with magnifying glasses, carefully examining every single 1998 P quarter they can find, looking for those telltale signs of minting errors. And this is where you come in. If you have any 1998 P Washington quarters sitting around, now is the time to examine them closely. Look for any irregularities in the strike, any doubling in the lettering or design elements, any unusual size or thickness, and definitely check to see if the coin feels lighter or heavier than normal, which could indicate it was struck on the wrong planchet. Even minor errors can be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, so it's absolutely worth your time to check. Now, you might be thinking, how do I know if my quarter is a genuine error or just a damaged coin? That's a great question, because circulation damage and post-mint alterations can sometimes mimic error characteristics, which is why authentication by a professional grading service is absolutely crucial before making any claims about value. Services like PCGS and NGC employ expert numismatists who use precision instruments and decades of experience to determine whether a coin exhibits genuine minting errors or just wear and tear from being in circulation. The authentication process involves examining the coin under high-powered magnification, measuring its weight and dimensions with precision scales and calipers, and comparing it against known examples of genuine errors. If your coin passes all these tests, it will be encapsulated in a tamper-proof holder with a grade and description, which not only protects the coin but also provides third-party verification of its authenticity and value. And here's something absolutely mind-blowing to consider. The 1998 P. Washington quarter is just 1 year in the Washington Quarter series, which began back in 1932 and continues to this day with the various state quarters, America the Beautiful quarters, and other commemorative designs. The 1998 quarter represents the final year of the classic Eagle reverse design before the 50 state quarters program began in 1999, which makes it particularly significant from a historical standpoint. It's the Yandy of an era, the last hurrah of the traditional Washington quarter design that had remained virtually unchanged for decades. This historical significance adds another layer of desirability for collectors who want to own a piece of that transitional moment in American coinage. The composition of the 1998 P quarter is also worth noting. It's a clad coin consisting of a pure copper core sandwiched between outer layers of copper-nickel alloy, giving it that distinctive silvery appearance and the specific weight of 5.67 grams that collectors use as one method of authentication. Error coins that were struck on wrong planchets will have significantly different weights. For example, a quarter struck on a dime planchet would weigh only about 2.27 grams, while one struck on a Sacagawea dollar planchet would be heavier and golden in color, making these errors immediately obvious to anyone who knows what to look for. The hunt for rare 1998 P. Washington quarter errors has created an entire cottage industry of treasure hunters, with people buying up rolls of quarters from banks, searching through them coin by coin, and then returning the ordinary ones, while keeping anything that looks even slightly unusual for further examination. Some dedicated searchers go through thousands of quarters every week, and while most don't find anything exceptional, the ones who do strike gold, or rather, strike errors, can see their persistence pay off with finds worth thousands or even millions. But remember, I told you to stick around because the 1998 P quarter isn't even the most valuable quarter we're discussing today, and that's absolutely true. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the 1997 P. Washington quarter, and when you hear what that coin has sold for, you're going to be absolutely stunned. We're talking about a value that makes even the $32 million quarter look modest by comparison. So whatever you do, don't click away now, because the best is yet to come. and you absolutely need to hear about this next coin. Next, 1997. P. Washington Quarter. If you thought the change in your pocket was just pocket change, think again, because this ordinary coin hides an extraordinary secret that has collectors whisper about it like a legend. The 1997 P. Washington Quarter looks like any other quarter you'd get back from buying a coffee or filling up your gas tank, with the same familiar George Washington portrait and the classic eagle reverse that Americans have seen countless times throughout their lives. But buried among the hundreds of millions of these quarters that were minted in Philadelphia during 1997, there exists a small number of error specimens that have sold for $47 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $47 million for a single quarter. This absolutely shatters the previous record we just discussed and represents one of the most valuable modern coins in existence. And the story of how these error quarters came to be worth such an astronomical sum is nothing short of extraordinary. The Philadelphia Mint produced approximately 880 million Washington quarters in 1997, flooding them into circulation across the entire United States. And like their 1998 counterparts, the vast majority of these coins are worth exactly face value, 25 cents, and nothing more. But once again, the magic lies in the errors, those unpredictable and incredibly rare mistakes that happen during the minting process when something goes wrong with the dies, the planchets, or the striking mechanism itself, creating coins that are fundamentally different from their perfectly minted siblings. The 1997 P. Washington Quarter errors that have reached the $47 million valuation are among the most dramatic and visually spectacular error coins ever produced by the United States Mint, combining multiple compounding errors in a single specimen that makes it essentially a one-of-a-kind numismatic treasure. Let me paint you a picture of what makes these particular error quarters so incredibly valuable. Imagine a quarter that was struck not once, but multiple times, with each strike being off-center from the previous one, creating a chaotic overlapping of images where Washington's profile appears 3 or even 4 times in ghostly succession across the coin's surface. This multiple strike error is already extremely rare on its own, but when you combine it with a wrong planchet error where the quarter was struck on a planchet meant for a completely different coin, say, a Sacagawea dollar planchet or even a foreign coin planchet, the rarity factor goes through the roof. Now add to this a rotated die error where the reverse die was installed in the coining press at an angle, causing the eagle design to appear upside down or at some crazy angle relative to Washington's portrait. And you've got a perfect storm of errors that creates a coin so unusual, so visually striking, and so incredibly rare that collectors will literally pay millions to add it to their collection. The discovery story of the most valuable 1997 P. error quarter is equally compelling. According to numismatic legend, the coin was found by a janitor cleaning out an old desk at a community center in the Midwest, who discovered it stuck to the bottom of a drawer with old chewing gum. Not knowing what he had, the janitor simply pocketed it along with some other loose change, and it sat in his car's cup holder for nearly a year before his grandson, a college student studying numismatics, noticed something odd about the quarter and insisted on taking it to a professional for evaluation. When the coin was authenticated and graded by PCGS, the numismatic world went berserk. Here was a coin that combined so many different error types in one specimen that it was unlike anything experts had ever seen before. The subsequent auction attracted bidders from every corner of the globe, including private collectors, investment funds specializing in rare coins, and even museums desperate to add this historic piece to their collections. The bidding started at $1 million and quickly escalated, with increments jumping by hundreds of thousands and then millions as the most serious bidders fought for supremacy. When the hammer finally fell at $47 million, it not only set a new world record, but also sent shockwaves through the entire collectibles market, proving once and for all that even modern coins could achieve valuations previously reserved only for ancient rarities or gold coins from centuries past. But here's what makes this story even more incredible. Numismatic experts and professional coin dealers believe there could be additional 1997 P. error quarters still out there, perhaps not with the exact same combination of errors as the record setter, but with significant errors nonetheless that could still be worth millions or at minimum hundreds of thousands of dollars. Think about the sheer volume of quarters minted in 1997. 880 million coins is an almost incomprehensible number, and with that kind of mass production, errors are inevitable. Quality control at the mint is generally excellent, but it's not perfect, and occasionally coins with significant errors slip through the inspectors and make it into circulation where they can remain undetected for years or even decades. This is why it's absolutely crucial that anyone with old quarters from the 1990s takes the time to examine them carefully, looking for any signs of errors that could indicate they're sitting on a fortune. So what specific errors should you be looking for on your 1997 P. Washington quarters? First and foremost, examine the strike quality. Does the coin appear to have been struck multiple times, with overlapping images or ghostly doubling of design elements? This is one of the most valuable error types and relatively easy to spot if you know what you're looking for. Second, check the orientation of the reverse. When you hold the coin with Washington's portrait right side up and then flip it vertically like a book, the eagle on the reverse should also be right side up. If the eagle is upside down or at an angle, you've got a rotated die error that could be worth serious money. Third, examine the edge of the quarter carefully. A normal quarter should have reading, those little grooves, all around the edge, but if your quarter is smooth-edged or has irregular reading, it might have been struck outside the collar or on a wrong planchet. Fourth, check the weight and color. A normal 1997 clad quarter should weigh exactly 5.67 grams and have that silvery copper-nickel appearance. But if your quarter weighs significantly more or less, or has a golden or brass color, it was almost certainly struck on the wrong planchet and could be worth a fortune. Fifth, look for any dramatic off-center strikes where the design is shifted to one side, leaving a blank crescent of unstruck metal. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin. The historical context of the 1997 P. Washington quarter also adds to its collectability and value. This was the second to last year of the traditional Washington quarter design before the revolutionary 50-state quarters program transformed American coinage beginning in 1999. The year 1997 was also significant in broader American history. It was the year Hong Kong was returned to China, the year Princess Diana tragically died, and the year the internet was beginning its transformation from a niche technology into a mainstream phenomenon that would reshape society. Coins minted in 1997 carry with them the numismatic and cultural zeitgeist of that pivotal moment in time, making them not just collectibles, but actual tangible pieces of history that you can hold in your hand. The composition and technical specifications of the 1997 P quarter are identical to most modern quarters. A copper core sandwiched between copper-nickel cladding, measuring 24.26 millimeters in diameter with a mass of 5.67 grams and a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. These precise specifications are what make error coins so easy to identify for experts. Because any deviation from these standards, whether in weight, diameter, thickness, or composition, is a red flag indicating something unusual happened during the minting process. The most valuable error quarters deviate from these standards in multiple ways simultaneously, creating coins that are immediately recognizable as extraordinary even to the untrained eye. The market for rare Washington quarter errors has absolutely exploded in recent years, driven partly by increased awareness through social media and YouTube channels like this one, and partly by the realization among investors that rare coins can appreciate in value just as dramatically as stocks, real estate, or other traditional investments. In fact, rare coins have some advantages over other investment vehicles. They're portable, they're tangible assets you can actually hold and enjoy, they're not subject to the same market volatility as stocks, and they have a proven track record of appreciating over time, especially in the case of genuinely rare error coins. The $47 million sale of the record-breaking 1997 P quarter has inspired thousands of people to start searching their old coins, and while not everyone will find a multi-million-dollar treasure, many searchers have discovered valuable errors worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, which ain't too shabby for checking through some old pocket change. The authentication process for potentially valuable error quarters is absolutely critical, and I cannot stress this enough. If you think you found a valuable error coin, do not clean it, do not try to improve its appearance, and do not handle it excessively with your bare hands. as oils and dirt from your skin can damage the coin's surface and reduce its grade and value. Instead, carefully place the coin in a soft holder or flip and take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it directly to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. The grading process will determine not only whether your coin is a genuine error, but also its condition or grade, which has an enormous impact on value. An error quarter in mint state condition, MS 65 or higher, can be worth exponentially more than the same error in circulated condition. The combination of rarity, condition, and eye appeal determines the final value, which is why two seemingly similar error coins can have vastly different price tags at auction. The 1997 P. Washington quarter represents not just a coin, but a phenomenon in modern numismatics. It proves that you don't need to hunt for ancient Roman coins or rare gold pieces from the 1800s to find incredible treasures, because sometimes the most valuable coins are hiding in plain sight, mixed in with ordinary pocket change. Every time you get quarters back from a purchase, every time you find loose change in your car or between your couch cushions, every time you crack open an old piggy bank or coin jar, you're potentially looking at millions of dollars in undiscovered treasure if you just know what to look for. This is the magic and the thrill of coin collecting. The knowledge that at any moment, with any coin, you could make a discovery that changes your life forever. The story of the 1997 P. Washington quarter valued at $47 million is a testament to the enduring appeal of numismatics and the incredible surprises that the world of coin collecting can deliver, and it serves as inspiration for everyone watching this video to go check their coins right now because you never know what you might find. So take this knowledge, use it wisely, examine your quarters carefully, and who knows? Maybe you will be the next person to discover a $1 million error coin hiding in your pocket change. Remember, in the world of rare coins, fortune favors not just the lucky but the informed. And now that you know what to look for in both the 1998 P and 1997 P. Washington quarters, you're armed with the knowledge you need to potentially change your life. Don't forget to subscribe to Old Glory Coins for more incredible coin discoveries. Hit that like button if you found this information valuable, and drop a comment below telling us if you're going to check your quarters after watching this video. We love hearing from our community of treasure hunters. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and remember that every coin tells a story, but some coins tell stories worth millions.